name's Becky. On my channel, I like to do-it-yourself projects on a budget, whether that be do-it-yourself home decor or do-it-yourself renovations. If that's something you enjoy doing also, I would love for you to consider subscribing to my channel. On today's episode, we're going to make some do-it-yourself high-end looking home decor, but you know we're going to do it on a budget. Let me take you through a few of the things that I bought for today's projects. For our first project, I got these Nutcrackers at Dollar Tree. This one was in the plus section. It was $5. It's a little bit larger. And then these were in the regular Dollar Tree section. They were $1.25 a piece. So what I think I'm gonna do is take off their hair and paint them black so they'll be very neutral. And it will help also get rid of the plasticky look on this. And then after I got them both, because I got them in different places, I don't think I'm going to be able to set them together because of the height difference, but I figured I could use them in different locations throughout the house. The next thing I got, I'm not sure if this is going to work, but I thought I'd give it a try. I went to a holiday market yesterday and I saw an angel that was in like a bell shape. So what I thought I would do is, I got all of these items from Dollar Tree, is I would take this and put some fairy lights in there and then take this top portion off of here and put it down, glue it down on top of it, and maybe make this in the mercury glass color, and then take this to make her head. And then take the angel wings to glue them on to the back. So I'm hoping that this will turn out right. If not, I spent $3.75 on it, so I don't think it'd be a huge loss, and I could probably break it apart and use it in a different craft. Next, I'm going to try to make up a bunch of bells. If you guys have looked at, a lot of the sites and everything, bells are really big this year, but to get big substantial bells, they're quite a bit of money. So what I did is I got a few of these from Dollar Tree, and what I'm going to do is take off the garland and the bow, and then paint them with like a more of an antiquing look, so that they look old and rustic, and then string a few of those together to hang on the side of my mantle. So I think that'll look really cute. Also, I got a few more things that I'm going to try to make bells out of. I got these wine glasses that I thought the bottom part kind of really resembled a bell, so I think I'm going to try to use those to make some bells as well. These solo cups, I thought, if I paint them with an antiquing look, and string those together, they could be like a small set of bells. I think those will look really cute. And then also I got these. What I'm planning on doing for these and possibly these is taking a old canned good jar after the food is out of it and gluing these on top, and then painting them all and distressing them to look like bells as well. So, I think we can get a lot of bells out of these for very little money. And then last but not least, I got this garland from the Dollar Tree Plus section. I thought it was $5 and it really gave me a bunch of pretty big ornaments that I could cut off and paint and use those on my Christmas tree to get, some power statements on those. So I think that'll turn out really good. I'm assuming that I could just probably put a top from another ornament on here and use that, and then just seal up this bottom part with some hot glue. So that is the project for today. Fingers crossed that angel turns out, but let's get started. For our first project, let's get that fake fur hair off those nutcrackers and get them painted black. I tell you what, that fur was a little bit more difficult to get off than I anticipated. I I started stabbing it and then pulling and then stabbing again. At one point I thought I was going to cut my finger off, but thankfully I didn't. And eventually I did get it all off. Now let's paint them all with a good coat of black paint. For this I used a satin paint. Initially I did put a flat primate, but then I followed up with a satin after the primer was dried. I ended up doing about 3 or 4 coats of this paint to get all the nooks and crannies of the Nutcracker. And after each coat, I let it dry. And this is how they turned out. I think they look super classy, almost iron-like, and I'm really going to enjoy putting them out in my decor. Now for our next project. Let's try to tackle this angel. I begin by pulling off the hook of the bell and cutting it down so it was pretty much flat so my head could fit on perfectly. And then I needed to pull off the fur from the angel wings. I swear, I don't know what glue Dollar Tree uses on this fur, but it holds good. Then I gave my bell and my angel wings a good coat of white paint. After my paint had dried, now it's time to see if we could put this whole thing together. I started out by putting some glue, a little bit of combination of E6000 and hot glue to glue my bell down. And then I took some fairy lights and shoved it down in the vase and strung the on-off switch out toward the back. And then I glued the vase topper on top of the bell, and this became the angel's head. Next, we glued the angel wings onto the back. And last but not least, I thought the angel needed some kind of a halo, so I made one out of some beaded wired garland. Well, I think it turned out pretty cute. What do you guys think? For our next craft, we're going to make our first set of bells. First, we needed to remove the bows and all the garland. Then I took them down to my spray booth and painted them all first with a coat of black paint. After that black paint dried, then I followed up with some gold. After my gold paint had dried, I still didn't love the color, so I took them up to my craft room and went over them with some gold rub and buff. And then I took some nautical rope to string them all together and to make the bell that hung from underneath. Once all the bells had the nautical rope on them, I gathered them up together, making them staggered on the bottom, and then tied them together at the top, making a loop. And lastly, I took some black velvet ribbon and tied it up the top to dress it up a little bit. And this is how they look on my mantle. I don't think anyone can tell that these were cheap plastic bells from Dollar Tree. Next, let's make some more bells out of these plastic champagne glasses. I tried multiple ways in cutting down the top of these. First, I started with some dog toenail clippers,
It worked, but it did end up breaking parts of the glass. So next I tried a hot tool, like a wood burning kit, or you could also use a hot knife, and that seemed to work a lot better. I ended up leaving 2 of the stems a little longer and then made 4 of them a little shorter. After my champagne glasses were all cut down, I took a wood bead and glued it on the top, and then took them down to the basement to do the same process, black coat of paint, following up with gold. For the ones that I cut down a little bit shorter, I wanted to group those together like I did my previous bell. So I used that wood bead that was on top to attach my twine to, and then again staggered them and then grouped them together and tied them together with a bow. And then for my ones that I left the stem a little longer, I just laid them crisscross on my mantle. Now let's make some bells out of these red plastic solo cups. I started off by taking my hot glue gun to get a hole in the top that I'll eventually thread my jute twine through, and then I took them down to the basement, gave them a good coat of black spray paint, and followed up with gold. I followed the same process by bunching these together, but they are a lot smaller and a lot daintier, so they look super cute. Would you guys guess that these are mini red solo cups? I don't think you will. Now let's make a bell out of this canned food jar. After I figured out which top fit my jar the best, I made sure it was dry, and then I glued it on with some E6000 and hot glue. This bell needed a topper, so I raided my stash to find out which one looked best. I again painted using the same process, coated black paint, and followed up with gold. I also ended up using a little bit of the rub and buff on this as well. And this is how it turned out. Super cute. And for our last project, let's get these ornaments cut off the rope so we can jazz them up a little bit. I ended up taking a ornament topper off of some of my blank ornaments, and then used that to put it onto the top and glued it on. And then on the bottom where the hole was, I just plugged that up with a little bit of hot glue. These can be used to sit out with some garland as decor, or they could be used on the tree. Well, that does it for this week's video. Have a great week.